In 146 BC, the Roman army did something the ancient world had never seen before. They didn't just defeat Carthage, they erased it. The city was burned to the ground, its people slaughtered or enslaved, its buildings reduced to ash. And the land? Legend says the Romans salted the soil, so nothing would grow there again. But how did it come to this? Carthage was once one of the richest cities on earth, a maritime empire built on trade, power, and ambition. For centuries, it stood toe-to-toe with Rome. It wasn't just a war, it was a rivalry between two rising superpowers. One of them would conquer the known world. The other would vanish from it entirely. This is the rise and fall of Carthage. Long before its final battle, Carthage was a rising star of the ancient world. Founded by Phoenician settlers around 800 BC, it began as a small colony in North Africa. But Carthage didn't stay small for long. Thanks to its location near key trade routes, the city exploded in wealth. They built massive harbors, merchant fleets, and walled fortresses to protect their growing empire. Gold, silver, ivory, spices, everything flowed through Carthage. And they weren't just merchants, they were brilliant shipbuilders, explorers, and military tacticians. At its peak, Carthage dominated the western Mediterranean, Sicily, Sardinia, Corsica, even parts of Spain. To Rome, Carthage was not just a rival, it was a threat. And sooner or later, one of them had to fall. The rivalry didn't start with Hannibal. It began with an island. Sicily, strategically placed between Carthage and Rome, became the spark that ignited the First Punic War. At the time, Carthage had the stronger navy, while Rome was dominant on land. But Rome adapted. They built a fleet from scratch, modeled after a captured Carthaginian ship. Then they added something new. The corvus, a boarding bridge that turned sea battles into hand-to-hand combat. The First Punic War raged for 23 years. It was the longest and most brutal conflict either side had ever faced. In the end, Rome won. Barely. But Carthage never forgot. After the First Punic War, Carthage was humiliated and Rome demanded even more. But one man would change everything: Hannibal Barca. The son of a Carthaginian general who made his son swear eternal hatred toward Rome. By his late 20s, Hannibal had already conquered much of Spain. But that wasn't his goal. He wanted Rome itself. And so, he did the impossible. In 218 BC, Hannibal marched over the Alps with war elephants. Blizzards, starvation, ambushes. Half his army died on the way. But those who survived made history. At Cannae, Hannibal encircled and destroyed a Roman army twice the size of his own. It was one of the worst defeats in Roman history. 50,000 soldiers dead. Rome trembled, but it didn't fall. And Hannibal, though feared, was left stranded in enemy territory. Rome was bleeding, but not broken. While Hannibal roamed the Italian countryside, the Romans regrouped. One man would lead the charge, Scipio Africanus. Young, bold, and obsessed with defeating Hannibal, Scipio took the fight to Carthage's colonies, especially in Spain. There, he won a series of rapid victories, turning the tide of the war. Then he did the unthinkable. He sailed to North Africa. If Carthage wanted Hannibal to return home, Rome would force it. And it worked. Hannibal, older now, with fewer men and no momentum, faced Scipio in open battle. Zama, the final clash between two military giants. In 202 BC, the two greatest generals of the ancient world faced each other at Zama. Hannibal brought war elephants, Scipio brought discipline. As the elephants charged, Roman troops opened lanes and let them pass. Then, chaos. Infantry clashed, cavalry circled, the desert filled with dust and death. But the Roman line held. Scipio counterattacked, crushing Hannibal's army from both sides. It was over. Carthage surrendered, its fleet burned, its empire dissolved, and Hannibal, He fled, hunted, exiled, and eventually driven to suicide. Rome had won, and history would never be the same. With Carthage defeated, Rome stood alone in the West. Its armies had proven unstoppable, its will unbreakable. From the ruins of Zama, an empire would rise. Rome expanded east, west, and across the seas. It became not just a republic, but a civilization that would shape the world for centuries. But victory came with a cost. Tens of thousands dead, cities reduced to ash, and ancient culture erased. The Punic Wars were over, but history had been rewritten. Rome won, but humanity paid the price.